How are you today? My name is Alexis Franks, and I'll be a social worker at the University Counseling Center. May I have your name, please?
My name is Miss Johnson.
All right, Ms. Johnson. And that's how you like to be addressed?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. The purpose of this meeting is to help you identify your problems that you are interfering with your school performance. This meeting is confidential, which means that everything we say or talk about will stay in this room, and the only way that it will leave the room is if I feel that it will harm you or anybody, because I'm obligated by law.
Okay.
Is it okay if I take notes today?
Sure, that's all right.
All right, do you have any questions before we start this interview?
Do you have to pay for this?
No, ma'am, it's free of charge.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
And about how long is this gonna take, this session?
The session, I would say no more than an hour.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's fine.
All right. All right. So how are you feeling today?
Feeling pretty good.
Pretty good. Okay. Did you attend class today?
Yes.
Okay, what classes did you attend today?
Science and philosophy class.
Wow, philosophy. What did you learn in science today?
Science, we just got an idea of different subjects that we wanted to cover for the class.
Okay. And what about philosophy?
The purpose of God.
Wow. That's a very strong topic.
It is very.
Purpose of God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how are you doing with the rest of your classes?
So far I don't have any more classes this semester.
Okay. So I was reading your charts, and in your charts I noticed that you have quite a few things that's going on and it's affecting you. So can you tell me what's going on and how it's affecting your school?
Well, I haven't had problems with my partner a couple of years since we separated.
Okay.
So that's brought on some problems about we were living together and I'm going to have to pay rent by myself, or I'm going to have to get another roommate.
Okay. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, so you and your partner, you guys separated, you guys were living together, and because you got separated, you have to basically cover all the expenses in your home, your apartment.
Right, I'm going to have to pay the rent, utility bills, telephone, cable.
Wow, okay. And when did this start?
About, say a month ago.
A month ago? And how did it start, if you don't mind me asking? Like, were you guys arguing, or, did you just simply fall out of love? What caused this confrontation?
Well, I guess it started because I was sick,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was a lot of problems I had with paying bills, and we had a problem about helping each other paying bills, because I had a lot of financial bills with by me being sick.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how, I can only imagine how this is taking a toll on you. So would you mind sharing with me how do you feel about the situation?
Well, at first it was very depressing,
Mm-hmm.
because when you find out that you have illness, you have to think about how you're going to react with it,
Mm-hmm.
or to it. But I think I'm getting the hang of it now, because I've been going back and forth to the doctors, and so far they say everything is coming along. But sometimes I still get depressed.
Wow. I'm so sorry to hear that, Ms.
Thank you.
Johnson. And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
75.
I'm sorry?
75.
Wow. You look very good for your age.
Oh, thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. And again, I'm sorry that you have to go through this type of things at this age. I hope that your illness, it gets better for you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
Are you employed at the moment?
Well, I did have a job working in
Is that your only type of income that you're receiving
Yes.
right now?
Mhm.
And how do you get paid? Monthly, weekly, bi-weekly?
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly, every 2 weeks. And if you could, I don't mean to get in your business, but if you
That's
could
all
give me about an estimate of how much you get paid bi-weekly?
Well, say $300.
$300 every 2 weeks. Okay. And what type of illness do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I had breast cancer.
Wow. Do you still have it as of now?
No, so far it's gone. I hope.
That's good, that's good. I'm very happy to hear that.
Thank you.
No problem. And is this something that is hereditary in your family?
As far as I know, it's not. I'm not sure because I don't know the total history.
Mm-hmm.
But so far as I know, it's not.
Okay. And you work at a clothes factory, you get paid bi-weekly, and you make about an estimate of $300 every 2 weeks?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, I noticed that you were having some financial difficulties, and that's when you told me about that you have to pay as far as paying your rent, utility, telephone, cable. Would you mind telling me about the estimate of how much those things cost so I could, try to get a grasp of how much, you pay a month?
Okay. What do you want to know first?
We could start with the rent
Okay, that's $350.
a month. Okay. And what about the cable?
The cable is $60 a month.
Okay. Utilities?
Utilities is $150 every other month.
Okay, 150 every other month. Do you have a car?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you have, how much, you pay car insurance for your car? Or car
Yeah,
notes?
that's, I pay $52 a month
For insurance?
for insurance.
Insurance. Do you have a car note?
No.
Okay. I also noticed while I was reading your chart that you've also been having some physical and mental problems as far as things such as headaches, upset stomach. Excuse me. You are not able to obtain a full night's rest. You have current back aches and you very suffer from depression. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I think that's probably because of the illness that I had.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting better
Mm-hmm.
than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's part of the illness. Hopefully it'll go away.
How has this affected you mentally, spiritually? How has?
Well, at first, like I said, it was very depressing because when you first find out that you have something like this,
Mm-hmm.
but the church, and I have a very good family support,
Mm-hmm.
friends, church, so that's a good support system that I have.
Okay.
So that's been a lot of help.
I'm glad that you have, a very strong support system. You feel like you can go and talk to people, that you really can trust about this. You really need to talk to them in time of need, because I can only imagine how much of an effect this has taken a toll on you. I just recently, I lost my grandfather. He had colon cancer.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was it was a very tough time for our family.
Mm-hmm.
And, the only way we got through it was with the love and support of one another. So I know that, you will be able to pull through. You look like a strong, tough lady.
It did, you're right, because that's a very important thing. That's what they tell you, because we did have some kind of counseling that I went to.
Mm-hmm.
When I found out that I had this,
Tell me a little bit about that.
that's something you go to counseling like once a week,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a support system of people who have been in a cancer situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that they mentioned, which is real helpful, is that you have a great support system,
Mhm.
which helps you a whole lot. The church, friends, everything. It's a good thing that you have that support system. It's very important.
Okay. That's great. So I want to talk more a little bit, as far as how your doctor's visits and things go. Do you, I'm not sure, did they require you to do dialysis?
No, you don't have to do dialysis. You do chemo,
Chemo, okay.
but I took 2 chemo treatments and opt not to take anymore.
So you have the option of not to take them?
Yes, you can take chemo if you want to, and then they recommend you to take chemo or radiation or both.
Okay, did you take radiation?
I took radiation.
What is radiation?
Radiation is when you have to take, I took 45 treatments of 15 minutes at each session.
And what did it radiate,
What that does, it's supposed to shrink if you have any, like I had surgery first, and then I had the chemo after. My system couldn't take that, so after 2 sessions, I was put in the hospital for like 5 days after each one. So I decided not to take any more chemo. So my surgeon said he would recommend, he didn't care if I didn't take the chemo, but he wanted me to take the radiation because he felt like he felt like he got all the cancer, but he felt like the radiation was very important to make sure that it wasn't any cancer left. So,
wow. That's crazy. I know I have a cousin that she has lupus, and she has to do chemo.
Okay.
And I know that every time I usually go, I try to, she usually does her chemo sessions on a Friday, so I would usually miss, when I was in class or when I was in college, I would miss a Friday to go sit with her chemo because I realized that, the lupus really took a toll on her, and she just needed that, support when she was there. And I realized that during the chemo, it made her nauseous and very weak afterwards. So it does
chemo affects everybody differently. Because, like I said, while I had chemo and it affected me one way, I would sit there and watch people sit there and eat their lunch, and it didn't bother them. But it's just how much chemo you have, what they inject in the chemo, because sometimes they have other medication besides just the chemo. And so I guess it affects everybody differently.
Okay. How did the radiation make you feel after?
No, the radiation is fine. I had no problems with the radiation.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great. That's great.
And I really didn't have any, you would go back after you had a treatment of the chemo to get a shot, because they said sometimes people, they go through, what is it? I feel like they would throw up or have kind of something like that. But the one thing it did do, it took all my hair out.
Oh, wow.
Chemo takes all of your hair off your whole body, everywhere. Your hair, your ears, your nose, everything. And it takes your taste away also. So
wow.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a lot of people, it's different effects that it has on people. So.
Wow. So sorry you had to go through that. Was your before you and your partner separated, was he there? Was he supportive?
No.
He wasn't?
No.
He never came to a session with you? I'm sorry. I know that.
I had, like I said, I had my family, so that was good. And the church.
Okay. So I've also read in your paperwork that you had some cases of having bad hygiene and sectional dysfunction. What was causing that?
I guess the depression at different times.
Okay. Do you smoke or drink?
No, not anymore.
You used to though?
I stopped smoking about 15 years ago.
Okay. And what did you used to smoke?
Pall Mall cigarettes.